Welcome to NarrativeNook where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening.
Let's go and follow her. A touch of annoyance flickered in Angela's eyes. The ski slopes here were long and they were quite a distance from the main lodge. Angela and Darlene quickened their pace, chasing after Arabella, but to their dismay, she was an excellent skier. The ski slope was particularly smooth, and Arabella moved with a lightness and grace that provoked a pang of jealousy in them. Damn, how could she ski that well? After a while, Arabella found a quiet spot, took off her ski goggles and gloves, and prepared to take a break. Angela and Darlene caught up quickly. Darlene even raised her chin arrogantly, asking disdainfully, "Hey, what's your name?" Being able to get into Sampson's ski resort and being friends with Kelly indicated that she was from a well-off family. But the extent of her wealth was still unknown. "You must know Angela, right? My name's Darlene, you must have heard of me." Darlene was attempting to intimidate her with her prestigious status. Seeing them catching up again, Arabella took out her phone and sent a WhatsApp message to Kelly. "Who is Darlene? Is that little pest bothering you?" Kelly replied quickly. "She's just Angela's lapdog and sidekick. She once spilled wine on my dress at a party, and has spread loads of rumors about me. Is she giving you trouble?" "Just ran into them." Arabella smirked after reading Kelly's message. "I'll get back at her for you." "Hey, I'm talking to you. Are you deaf?" Darlene, arms crossed over her chest, glared at Arabella. "Is there anyone here?" Arabella looked up lazily. "All I hear is a dog barking." Darlene was fuming. "I've been to countless high society balls and charity dinners, and I've never seen you. You must have charmed Mr. Sampson to be able to ski here." Angela thought this made sense. Arabella and her family had never attended any of the international events that all the high-ranking families had attended. They had also never seen Arabella in any pictures with Sampson until that night on the yacht, when the internet exploded with pictures of Sampson shopping with his girlfriend. Bodyguards were carrying hundreds of shopping bags. "Could you be the one who charmed Mr. Sampson that night?" Angela sneered at Arabella. "Shameless, pretending to be all high and mighty, but who knows how many times you've been played? And you dare to act high and mighty in front of us?" A cold glint appeared in Arabella's eyes. They were really asking for it. "Last time Mr. Sampson said that one should know when to make a scene, and I think this is a good time." Angela was ready to teach her a lesson. After all, Sampson had only warned them not to bother Kelly. But he hadn't said anything about Arabella. Darlene thought, for a girl who only knew how to use Mr. Sampson's credit card and spend lavishly, Sampson would surely get bored of her soon. Even if Arabella complained to Sampson later, there were no cameras here, she had no proof, and Sampson couldn't do anything to them. It was a good idea to take out their frustration on Arabella since they couldn't hurt Kelly. "So, are you planning to fight?" Arabella smirked, showing some interest. "Enough talk." Angela picked up her helmet and swung it at Arabella. At the same time, Darlene also swung her ski pole at Arabella. Elsewhere, Kenneth and Louisa were taking a break in the luxurious on-site restaurant after a tiring ski session. The restaurant was warm and cozy, with servers offering coffee and various pastries. They had been resting when Sampson walked in through the door. "Where's Bella?" Sampson asked, not seeing his niece in sight. "She's probably still playing outside." The snow outside was beautiful and Bella, being a young girl, still had energy to burn. Sampson sent a message to the staff. The staff replied quickly, "Ms. Bella said she wanted to play by herself for a while, so we didn't follow her." Perhaps fearing Sampson's potential blame, the staff added, "Ms. Bella said she would call us if anything came up, and we reminded her she has a whistle in her pocket. Go find her, have her take a break and eat something to replenish her energy." "Understood." The staff immediately checked the surveillance cameras and found that Arabella had gone down the farthest ski slope and hadn't returned. They immediately assembled a search party and, to their surprise, they saw 3 people brawling in the distance. No, to be precise, 2 figures were attacking Arabella with their ski gear. Bella was trying to dodge them, but they were relentlessly pressing. "Stop." A chorus of whistles rang out from the staff as they ran towards the scene, trying to stop the assault. But they were too far away, and the sound of the wind and snow drowned their voices. They were still quite a distance away, running as fast as they could. One of the team leaders called Samson. "There are 2 suspicious people attacking Miss Bella." "What did you say?" Samson stood up immediately, his face turning cold. Arabella had already noticed the staff coming from afar. She dodged Angela and Darlene's attacks leisurely, as if she was watching a circus act. She looked completely relaxed, as if they were too weak for her to even bother dealing with. Angela and Darlene were furious. They hadn't expected that they were panting from exhaustion while Arabella had yet to be touched. Seeing their exhausted and frustrated faces, Arabella finally picked up her ski pole, gave them a disdainful smile, and skied further down the slope. Angela and Darlene, unwilling to let her go, gave chase. Their figures once again disappeared from the staff's sight. Arabella finally stopped when she had shaken off the staff, with no surveillance cameras or other people around, and gave them a good beating. She specifically targeted areas covered by their clothes. Before long, Angela and Darlene were curled up on the ground, begging for mercy. When the staff arrived with Samson in a snowmobile, Samson was relieved to see his beloved niece standing unharmed, while the 2 troublemakers were lying at her feet, seemingly badly injured. He immediately got off the snowmobile and quickly walked over to Arabella, asking softly, "Are you okay? Were you hurt?" Arabella shook her head and obediently replied no. Having witnessed Arabella's skills on the cruise ship, Samson knew that ordinary people were no match for her. He was immediately put at ease. "You have the audacity to lay hands on Mr. Sampson's girl." Sampson's security team arrived and immediately grabbed their arms. "Ah. It hurts, Mr. Sampson, it's me, Angela. Tell your people to let go, I'm Darlene." Upon recognizing them, Samson instantly pieced together the situation. His niece, Arabella, must have been trying to keep the peace, not wanting to hurt them, but they kept pushing her, leading to a physical altercation. "Mr. Sampson, she bullied us. I'm hurting all over," Angela cried out, pointing at Arabella. If it weren't for the fact that her injuries were located on her chest, stomach and thighs, she would have shown them to Samson. "Mr. Sampson, you can't let her off the hook, I'm injured all over." Darlene also whimpered, glaring at Arabella with righteous indignation. The atmosphere around Samson became icy cold, his frosty aura eclipsing the winter landscape, sending chills down the spine. He turned to the staff next to him and asked in a cold voice, "What happened?" "Mr. Sampson, all our staff can testify that from a distance, we saw these 2 ladies start it. Ms. Bella was just trying to avoid them." So, the girl's name was Arabella. Angela and Darlene exchanged a look, seemingly reaching a consensus. They must investigate this Arabella and teach her a lesson. When Miss Bella couldn't avoid them any longer, she tried to escape on her skis, but they kept chasing her. Eventually, they disappeared from our sight due to their speed. "We're not lying, Mr. Sampson. You can check for yourself. Indeed, they were the ones who started it. Miss Bella is the victim." Upon hearing the staff's account, Angela immediately denied it. "That's not true, she started it. Darlene and I had to fight back in self-defense." Darlene also nodded emphatically. "She kept provoking us and even attacked us. We had no choice but to fight back. We didn't even hit her, she's the one who left us severely injured." Samson's icy gaze fell on them, silencing them with fear. Anyway, there were no surveillance cameras here. What could Samson do to them? They were already beaten up to this extent. If their parents came to settle scores with Samson later, he would have to give them some face out of respect and wouldn't make things harder for them. The most likely outcome was that Arabella would apologize and then they'd move on. A smug glint flashed through Angela and Darlene's eyes. "Bella, tell me what happened." Samson turned to the girl by his side, his tone and gaze noticeably gentler compared to how he spoke to the others. Angela and Darlene were slightly miffed. There was definitely something going on between them. "They said that I have to climb up your ladder to play in the ski resort, and that my body was tainted countless times." At this, Samson's fury flared. How dare they use such malicious words to hurt his niece? "Uncle Samson," they also said, Last time you told them on the cruise ship that they should pick the right place to make a fuss. They said that this place is quite suitable, so they started it." The way Arabella spoke, her innocent appearance, made Samson furious, and at the same time, he couldn't help but feel a pang of heartache. Damn it, how dare they say such things about his niece in his ski resort, and even laid their hands on her. The surrounding bodyguards knew today, these two ladies were done for. They could already feel their boss's wrath, barely suppressed. The staff also looked at them with sympathetic eyes. On Mr. Sampson's turf, humiliating Mr. Sampson's beloved niece and even starting a fight. Either one was enough to spell their doom. "What did you just say?" At that moment, Angela and Darlene were struck dumb, staring at Arabella in disbelief, then at Samson. Did Arabella just call Samson uncle? Their faces turned ashen, and it was Angela who stuttered out the question first. What did you call him just now?" Arabella didn't answer, but it was Samson who spoke up in his cool, detached voice. "Is there a problem with my niece visiting my ski resort?" His niece? His actual niece? Angela and Darlene turned even paler, as if they'd been struck by lightning. It took them a while to realize the extent of the trouble they had stirred up. Arabella was Samson's niece? What on earth was going on? Why hadn't any media reported this before? They were in deep trouble now. Take them away. Standing around in the heavy snowfall wasn't a good idea. Samson was worried about his beloved niece getting cold. However, upon hearing Samson's orders, Angela became frantic. She'd heard plenty about Samson's ruthless ways. Being taken away meant either a meeting with the Grim Reaper or losing an arm or a leg. "Mr. Samson, I didn't know she was your niece. But she was the one who provoked us first. We were just defending ourselves," Angela insisted. If Samson knew that they were the ones who started the quarrel and the fight, it would be more than just losing an arm or a leg. "You can call a doctor to examine our injuries. We were the ones who were beaten up, and we're not lying," Darlene chimed in. As long as the doctor confirmed their injuries were from a fight, even if Arabella was in the right, she would be in the wrong. Arabella was waiting for them to say this. Raising an eyebrow and smirking slightly, she replied, "I agree to the examination." Not just Angela and Darlene, but even Samson was surprised. An examination would definitely work against Arabella. But seeing her innocent and sensible demeanor, they couldn't guess what she was up to. What was she planning? "Uncle Samson, let them get examined," Arabella suggested. The bodyguards and staff around them were confused, not understanding Miss Bella's move. "All right." Samson pulled out his phone and dialed a number. "Ski resort, get over here." The man on the phone was overjoyed. "Mr. Samson, are you finally decided to sell that large western piece of land to us?" "No business talks today." Samson's voice was calm, but those who knew him could tell that it was the calm before a storm. "Bring a doctor." Samson's voice was always cold, and called Darlene's parents. The man on the phone hesitated. "What happened?" "Your daughters got hurt at my ski resort and are demanding a medical examination." The man on the phone was terrified. These two naive young girls. "I'm heading over there right now to pick them up. What's this about injuries and checkups? They're just kids, don't take their words seriously." "No, I want them all accounted for," Samson insisted firmly. The man on the other end tried to lighten up the mood. "Mr. Samson, at most the girls took a tumble while skiing. There's no need for a doctor. I think they're just being brats, need some disciplining." But Samson cut him off. "Do I need to repeat myself for the third time?" "No, not at all." The man on the phone realized the gravity of the situation, hardly daring to breathe. "Please wait for us, Mr. Samson. We'll be there as soon as possible. We'll definitely make things right." Samson hung up and opened the door of the snowmobile, letting Arabella in first. Angela and Darlene were somewhat uneasy. Was Samson calling their parents over because of that phone call? Especially recently, both families were hoping for Samson's help. Angela's father wanted to acquire a piece of land in the West. He was competing with other corporations, trying to win Samson's favor to secure the deal. Angela's uncle recently had a confrontation at a casino owned by Samson, causing some damage there. Samson hadn't made a statement about the incident yet. Darlene's family owned a mid-range car manufacturing company. They were quite wealthy, but her uncles were trying to undermine her father, hoping to collaborate with Samson for mutual benefit. There were countless matters like these. Angela and Darlene knew very well that if Samson decided to get serious, their families would be the ones to suffer. Seeing the snowmobile leave, Angela and Darlene hurriedly asked, "What should we do?" They couldn't possibly walk through the snow, could they? "If you don't want to die ugly later, you better catch up and come clean with Mr. Samson. Maybe he'll go easy on you," a staff member suggested. Angela and Darlene were in pain, and even walking was difficult for them. As the snowmobile got further and further away, they had no choice but to grit their teeth and chase after it. "Mr. Samson, we can explain. We wouldn't dare to hurt your niece even if we had the guts. Everything we said is true. You can check if you don't believe us." Because of their injuries, they didn't use their snowboards, but ran after the snowmobile. "We don't know why your men lied. It wasn't us who started the fight, we're the victims. Wait until the medical examination results come out. You'll see that we're the disadvantaged party. Mr. Samson, don't call our parents over. We can talk about anything." Since the snowmobile resembled a tour bus and had no windows, Arabella could hear their words clearly. "Don't let it get to you," Samson soothed Arabella. "I'll take care of it for you." "I did hit them," Arabella confessed. "The staff saw everything. They started it and you were only defending yourself," Samson defended her. "Even if you started everything, so what? As long as I'm here, if you want to hit anyone, just go ahead, I'll take care of it." Arabella thought, what? Wasn't he being a bit too indulgent? If you want to hit someone, it's because that person deserved it. If you dislike someone, it's that person's fault. Samson said seriously, "In any case, it's never your fault." "Uncle Samson, don't you distinguish between right and wrong?" "With me, whatever you do is right," Samson said, not forgetting to add, "the one who's wrong can only be someone else." 10 minutes later, the snowmobile pulled up to the resort's own luxury restaurant, where staff rushed to serve Arabella a smorgasbord of delectable dishes. Other members of the staff hurried forward with thermal clothing, electric blankets, and hand warmers, afraid that Arabella might be cold or hungry. Louisa also rushed anxiously to her daughter's side. "Sweetie, are you okay? Who had the audacity to harm you? Samson, did you find out who was responsible? Quickly, tell Daddy where you're hurt. I'll call for a doctor right away." Kenneth was beside himself with worry, fearing that his daughter was in pain. But Arabella gently replied, "They're the ones who got hurt, not me." "Really?" Louisa cupped her face, scrutinizing her carefully, even rolling up her sleeves and trouser legs to conduct a rough inspection. It seemed she was indeed fine. She heaved a sigh of relief, hugging her daughter tightly. "As long as you're okay, that's all that matters." When Samson received that call, it scared us. "Samson, you still haven't told us who they are. Did you find out?" "They are Angela and Darlene. You don't know them. I'll handle it. They must be punished severely, no mercy." Louisa was distressed. Such a peaceful Christmas Eve, and they had to cast a shadow on it for my precious girl. "Come Bella, warm up and eat something." Meanwhile, Angela and Darlene were running out of breath. Just as they reached the entrance of the restaurant, they overheard the conversation and upon closer inspection, realized that the elegant woman, affectionately referring to Arabella as "Sweetie," was none other than Louisa. It was common knowledge that Louisa was pampered by her husband, who reportedly followed her everywhere. Looking more closely, they indeed saw Kenneth by her side, offering all kinds of delicious food to Arabella, coaxing her to eat more. How could this be? How could Arabella be their daughter? The Collins family's wealth was at least 3 times greater than theirs. At that moment, 2 couples hurried over, followed by a panting doctor carrying a medical kit. The restaurant door swung open, letting in a gust of snow. "Mr. Samson, I apologize for keeping you waiting." The speaker was Angela's father, who bowed deeply in apology upon entering. Because Samson didn't speak any foreign languages, all the foreigners who wanted to curry favor with him had consciously learned English and spoke it fluently. Angela's mother shot Angela a fierce look, also bowing in apology, her demeanor elegant and aristocratic. Darlene's parents, on the other hand, gave Darlene a hard slap on the back, blaming her for her reckless behavior. "Don't be too hard on her, or the blame for her injuries will fall on us." Samson sat on a single chair, his eyes cold. Darlene's father wanted to say something, but Samson raised his hand to stop him. "Let's check the injuries first. Mr. Samson, this is just child's play, we can't take it too seriously. Even if they ended up bruised and battered here today, it would be due to their limited skiing skills and has nothing to do with you." Darlene's father tried to appease Samson, but Samson raised his hand to stop him from continuing. A bodyguard suggested, "Let's have a medical examination." Left with no choice, both families had to allow the girls to be taken into the restaurant's restroom for the doctor to examine any injuries. After a while, the doctor emerged, medical bag in hand, and bowed respectfully to the gathered crowd. "Apologies for the wait. I can assure you, on my honor and professional reputation, there are no bruises or wounds on them, not even minor injuries. They were complaining of pain, but upon examination, I found nothing wrong." At this, Darlene emerged from the restroom, anxiously running towards the group. "She really did hit us. I feel pain in my chest, stomach, back, everywhere hurts. How is it possible that you can't find any injuries?" Angela, having finished changing, also suspected foul play. Logically, if Arabella had hit them so hard, there should be some visible signs of injury, at least some bruises. If the doctor was hired by Samson, she would suspect that he had bribed the doctor. But Dr. Allen was known for his honesty and never bowed to any influential figures. Both families have known him for years, and he always told the truth about any medical conditions. Once, Angela tried to bribe him with $1 million to get a sick note so she could take a month off school, but he declined. How could such a person lie? But if he was telling the truth, how could Arabella hit them so hard without leaving even a single bruise? Angela ran to her parents, anxiously insisting, "We really are hurt. If you don't believe us, we can go to the hospital to check." Upon hearing this, her father slapped her harshly. "Enough with these antics. When will you stop?" The sound of the slap was so crisp, it startled even Darlene. She never expected Angela's father to be so harsh. "What on earth have you two been doing? First, you claim Mr. Sampson's niece attacked you, then you insist on getting a medical examination. What is going on?" Darlene's father also demanded sternly, "Speak up now." Both girls were so scared they couldn't speak. Angela covered her face, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Let me explain." Samson, sitting in his chair, finally spoke. "Today is Christmas Eve, and I brought my niece to my ski resort for some fun. Then these two young ladies approached and provoked her, claiming that my niece was the reason I was invited to this event, and even insinuating that she has been used and abused numerous times." At these words, the parents of Angela and Darlene were stunned, a mix of fear and anger coursing through them. "When they harassed my niece on the cruise last time, I warned them to be mindful of their actions and their surroundings. Today, they told my niece they thought this was a good occasion and started to bully her. At Samson's ski resort, they dared to say such things about his niece, and even attack her." The parents of Darlene and Angela were furious to the point of faintness. They each scolded their children. "Are you out of your minds? What kind of nonsense are you spouting? You already troubled the girl once and Mr. Sampson saw it, yet you didn't learn your lesson. She's here today to enjoy her uncle's ski resort. What business is it of yours?" Both sets of parents were fuming mad. Samson claimed that Arabella was his niece, while Kenneth and Louisa sat there, as if waiting for an explanation. What did this mean? It meant that Arabella was their child. Not just in Solterra, but also overseas, some tycoons only announce one child to the public, while the others grow up under their wings, unbeknownst to the media. Arabella could have been one of these children, protected since she was little, which was why not many people knew she was the daughter of Solterra's wealthiest couple. Why did Angela and Darlene have to provoke her? They provoked and even started spouting nonsense, saying how Samson was a playboy and Arabella was a slut. Could they just say such things out of the blue? They were too reckless. At this point, a staff member remembered something and quickly took out his cell phone. "Mr. Sampson, when we saw Ms. Angela and Miss Darlene attacking Ms. Bella, we also blew a whistle to stop them, and I even filmed it while running." He opened the video. The camera was shaking badly, but he could hear his panting and scolding of Darlene and Angela. In the footage, it was indeed Angela and Darlene who were attacking. Arabella was dodging them, finally picking up her ski poles and sliding away, but Angela and Darlene were still relentless. They even chased after her. With this conclusive evidence, Darlene's mother fainted on the spot. Her husband quickly supported her. "Mom, Mom." Darlene wanted to rush forward but was slapped twice by her father. "Look at what you've done." Angela's parents were also furious, scolding her non-stop. "You just said in front of Mr. Sampson and his family that it was their niece who started it. You apologize now, apologize immediately." "Dad, Mom, stop hitting, I apologize, I'm apologizing right now." Angela, seeing the evidence was clear, didn't dare to argue and came to Sampson, crying, "I'm sorry, Mr. Sampson." "Kneel down." Angela's mother smacked her back fiercely. Angela's legs gave way out from fear, and she knelt in front of Sampson. "I'm sorry, really sorry." Her parents also bowed deeply, constantly apologizing. "We're really sorry, we failed in teaching our daughter. Mr. Sampson, Mr. and Mrs. Collins, Ms. Bella, we're truly sorry. We'll make sure to discipline her at home and this won't happen again. Also, our corporation recently opened a new villa district. We're willing to give the 3 best villas to Ms. Bella as an apology. I know Ms. Bella won't fancy ordinary cars. Today is Christmas Eve. I ordered a Rolls-Royce for my wife. It's a new custom model. I'm willing to give it to Ms. Bella. Please forgive my daughter." Darlene's father hurriedly tried to appease. Sampson remained silent. Darlene's father added, "If Ms. Bella doesn't mind, I'm willing to cash out 10% of the corporation's shares and give it to her, just as long as Arabella can forget today's unpleasantness. I'm also willing to cash out 10% of the corporation's shares for Ms. Bella, requesting her forgiveness." Angela's father quickly followed suit. Sampson's expression remained inscrutable. Angela's parents and Darlene's father were a bundle of nerves as they berated their own daughters, instructing them to apologize to Arabella. "I'm sorry, Arabella." Angela's words were cut short by a sharp slap on her shoulder from her mother. "You're not worthy to utter her name." "I'm sorry, Miss Bella." Angela was in tears. "I promise I won't bother you again. If I ever cross paths with you, I will keep my head down. Please, show us mercy and forgive us." At a forceful nudge from her father, Darlene also knelt down in front of Arabella, offering a string of apologies. "How much stake did you just mention?" Arabella asked suddenly. Caught off guard, the fathers of both girls hurriedly repeated their offers. 15% of the company, plus a Rolls-Royce. As he spoke, Darlene's father observed Arabella's reactions, sweetening the pot as he went. "And another car, a custom-made Koenigsegg, plus 10 stores downtown. I, too, offered 15% of the company, and 3 luxury villas." Angela's father, also closely watching Arabella's reactions, added, "And a Pagani and a Bugatti." "That's quite generous." "Oh no, as long as you are willing to give them another chance, it's us who are gaining." Both sets of parents kept heaping praises. "If you gentlemen are sincere, then let's leave it at that." Hearing Arabella's words, the parents erupted with joy, expressing their gratitude. "We will have everything delivered to Mr. Sampson's corporation today. Please, Ms. Bella, accept our apologies and thank you for your generosity. We'll take these miscreant girls home and deal with them." They dragged their daughters by their ears and left. Before they left, they apologized once again to everyone present. Louisa looked at her daughter with confusion. "Bella, have you been short on money lately?" "Damn it, I haven't given you any pocket money for the past 2 weeks." Kenneth suddenly realized his negligence, blaming himself. "Unless there's something you wanted to buy, I'll buy it for you. I'll transfer your pocket money right away. Mom, Dad, they started it, but they didn't lay a finger on me. I was the one who beat them. Now their parents have compensated us around $50 to $60 million. I'd say we made a profit." She had asked around and found out that if these 2 families went bankrupt directly, not only would she gain nothing, but other families in Lidaria would rise up, which would be disadvantageous to her uncle. Now, with these 2 families keeping the others in check, Her uncle didn't have to deal with this mess himself, and they've even gained several $1 million. Who wouldn't find this appealing? Samson seemed to understand his niece's thoughts, looking at her with a softer gaze. Having experienced such an event, Louisa lost her mood for leisure. The group quickly returned to the Samson residence. Even the windows and stair railings were not spared, covered in beautiful blossoms. Seeing Kenneth and Louisa walking in front, Samson chuckled. I was a bit surprised when Dr. Allen said there were no bruises on them, but then I remembered you are Dr. Bell, and it all made sense. Making them writhe in agony without any detectable injury was something Dr. Bell could achieve with ease. Uncle Samson noticed it too? Arabella couldn't help but chuckle. They probably still can't figure out what's going on, Samson laughed. His refined demeanor was juxtaposed with his easy charm. What do you think, Bella? Samson's gaze landed on his niece. Arabella knew that many tycoons, in a bid to make their Christmas Eve and Christmas Day celebrations stand out, would hire experienced event organizers to create themes and decoration. Some would even go on vacations or splurge on exclusive luxury items to enjoy the perks of being wealthy. Arabella observed as the entire venue was transformed into a dreamy Christmas wonderland. All the maids were dressed as elves, and ballet dancers were entering from another door. It seemed a dance performance was on the cards for the evening. Pretty good. Arabella's approval led to a hefty bonus for the event organizers. The head organizer thanked her profusely, brimming with joy, before rushing off to manage the next segment of the event. Bella, dinner won't be ready for another hour. Would you like to go back to your room and rest? Samson offered gently. Or, I could have May show you around. We have a movie theater and game room here. Would you like to go and play? I'm good. I'll just look around on my own. Arabella placed her baseball cap on the couch, her attention inadvertently caught by the numerous Christmas trees around the room. She could tell that every ornament on the trees was handcrafted and unique. The stars at the top of Christmas trees were made of dazzling diamonds, roughly 100 in total. Putting aside everything else, just one of these Christmas trees would cost more than $200,000. And that's not even mentioning other trees scattering around the room that had various styles and height. Arabella then wandered into the garden, which was populated by 7 or 8 3-meter-tall toy soldiers, adding a touch of childlike gaiety to the setting. String lights adorned the plants, and there were beautiful ribbons, Christmas trees, and decorations everywhere. Several maids were hustling around the garden. They were pushing racks of neatly hung clothes, every piece without a wrinkle. Arabella's beautiful face held a touch of confusion as she asked a passing maid, "What's going on?" "Miss Bella." The maid greeted her with utmost respect. "Mr. Griffith has picked out some more clothes, handbags, and shoes for you today, along with those from last night. They'll be too much to carry, so he asked us to wash, iron, and send them straight to the plane. The plane will arrive at Reflections Villa tomorrow. The staff there will put everything in your wardrobe." The maid smiled warmly. "We've ironed everything to ensure there are no wrinkles. Now we're just counting and checking the styles to make sure nothing's missing, then they'll be sent to the plane." Arabella was rendered speechless. She hadn't expected Samson to buy her so much stuff today.
If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.